I want to talk about something else, though. Gen Z versus millennials. Gen Z thinks work's a scam. Made by Nectar? Let's find out. Let's see what's going on.
I've done the late nights. I've done the 80-hour work weeks.
That's just not something that's worth it for me.
The way that I have lived my life, if I keep working hard enough, that I'll have my big break.
You can work and you can work and you're...
What is that head structure? I'm sorry. I have a fat head and a 6 head. I have a 6'4" head. 6 head? What is this, man? This is an alien.
You're still gonna maybe retire?
Gen Z sets more boundaries than any generation. Millennials are the most.
Yeah, but not every boundary is meant to be respected, no offense. Some people have some really dumbass boundaries. That's just a fact. If you have a boundary that your boss can't tell you what to do because it stresses you out, your boundaries. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Most burned out. We brought them face to face to find out
Guys, I have a boundary of not getting burned out at work.
why.
It's harder for Gen Z to
He absorbs books by looking at them.
succeed at work than for millennials. In or out in 3, 2, 1.
It's harder for Gen Z to succeed at work than for millennials. I'm guessing in is agree, out is disagree.
When I think about
So I'll say this. I'll give my opinion first, and then we'll see what they say. I would actually say I agree, and there's a few reasons. One, bad job market right now. Many Gen Zs, like the straight up middle of their generations, graduating in a job market that's not great. There's more. The unemployment for male college graduates right now with a college degree is the same unemployment rate as non-college degree holding men. For women, it is slightly better, mostly due to the healthcare and services. So that is difficult. That is hard. Millennials, the oldest millennials had the financial crisis to deal with. That's like the very oldest, right? Most millennials, had a pretty okay economy. And we did get the benefit, as the beginning of Gen Z also did during the 2022 incredible job market we had for the employees. Now, I'm going to say number 2, and this is Gen Z. The first one, not Gen Z's fault. Second one is kind of Gen Z's fault. Good and bad on this part, but they're very entrepreneurial, very independent. But even though that can be good in some qualities, it's not always the best for getting into the corporate world, getting into a job that isn't your dream job. You tend to focus on things you like more. You don't really fit into the mold. They don't grind on the things they need to grind on because they want to do their own thing a bit more independently. And HR is seeing that among Gen Zs, and that can kind of hurt them. So let's see what they say. Many millennials lack work ethic too. Yeah, I never even brought up work ethic though, for what it's worth. Gen X looks at both younger generations being completely cooked. That's the story as old as time. Every generation is going to look at the generation after them as cooked, right?
when I think about Gen Z in the workforce, why I think they have a harder time. Every day AI exists is the worst it's ever going to be. It just keeps getting.
That is interesting. It's going to open. Well, it is opening. Listen, if you're graduating college right now with any focus in AI, that's who's getting paid the highest. And they'll steal you. They'll steal you and give you $1 million a year. It's kind of crazy. That's obviously for top talent, but that's where there's lots of opportunities. But yes, because of the shift to focus on AI, just a classic software engineer job right out of college, it's harder. It's harder to find. That is true. That is interesting.
Better and better, and it gets better fast. A lot of the companies in my network, the jobs that they're trying to use AI to replace are more the entry-level jobs. They're the jobs where people used to get their foot in the door and learn a skill.
Yeah, analytically, for what it's worth, we haven't seen many true jobs on a statistical relevant scale get actually replaced with AI. There's lots of tests happening. There's first round interviews we've seen where AI is doing it, but it's not systemic across the board, But we're coinciding with high interest rates for a long period of time, so companies are not willing to reinvest because usually that is followed by a recession. We are seeing the economic global structure, globalism, shift around due to the tariff situation, so people are holding their money, seeing how it ripples through the country and the economy before they start investing again. And again, companies are moving their focus from what they were doing to more AI-focused things. So if you're in a previous job, it's not like you can't get a job, but the jobs that are there are AI-focused, right? as the AI bubble continues to grow, if it's a bubble, which we'll see. So it's a little more complicated than that for what it's worth, but I see what he is saying.
and pay their dues so that they could then get promoted and work their way up into a career. And a lot of those entry-level jobs are starting to disappear. I think that those are
No, statistical basis, but I see what he's saying. I think in the next 10 years, probably.
some really unique obstacles that no other generation has faced.
Just from a political perspective, because I work in government, I'm an elected official, I would say that
What the fuck is this guy? Also, did he say he works as an elected official?
just from a political perspective, because I work in government, I'm an elected official, I would say that
City councilman of like a city of like 10 people. It looks like he destroys and mutilates toys in Toy Story 1.
the climate of the world that we're in is a lot more susceptible to change than it was for millennials in the 2010s. There's a lot more dissatisfaction with the status quo, and I think Gen Z, for the most part, I think we're going to be able to tap into that. I think that's an advantage that Gen Z has, especially over millennials.
Yeah, we always adapt. Listen, the generational thing's dumb. There's no technical scientific thing backing by generations. Just us as humans are obsessed with grouping things. I say wherever you are, you're most similar in terms of your background in life to people that are 10 years older than you, 10 years younger than you. Wherever you are, you're in the middle of that. That's who you're used to. Like, I have more in common with the older Gen Z people than I have with the older millennials, because I'm like the last year cut off millennial, you know? But I have more in common with older millennials than I do youngest Gen Z, because they fucking grew up as Cocoa Melon iPad kids, you know? So I don't know. The generation thing's a little, so it kind of looks very young and singable. Yeah, I would love to know his elected official position is. Comptroller.
Think about some of my close friends who are trying to enter the workforce, who are trying to get a good, solid job. It has been a fight for them. Like,
Yeah.
it is
It's a hard job market right now, specifically though.
so hard for them to get second interviews just because based on their resume, based on the experience. I think
More so based on the job market, but yes.
with having COVID as our beginning into the workforce, I think that kind of put us at a disadvantage.
Gen Z expects too much from their employers. In or out in 3, 2, 1.
It's like the left Gen Z, the right is millennials. Okay, so what would my opinion be on this before they give theirs? Gen Z expects too much. I don't know. I think there's a mixture of Gen Z and millennials expecting a lot higher pay and being able to demand a lot because they saw the 2021-2022 incredible best employees market in the history of human civilization, where it was just hyper competitive. Every employer was fighting to get every employee possible. So I think younger millennials, upper Gen Z might have kind of like homeowners, you know, that right now they want to sell their house, but they think they are still getting COVID prices. Like, no, but just because you saw it doesn't mean that's where the market is today. So I wouldn't say a level of entitlement from that, but a level of like, they think that's what's normal. So maybe they have high expectations there. I don't have anything to back this up, so I'm not going to say it's a fact, but I wouldn't be surprised if many Gen Z people that are more like TikTok performative virtue signaling expect to come into an entry-level job and have a big impact and like be able to shape the social structure and mission of the business, you know? I wouldn't be surprised, but I also don't know for sure. I don't think the boomers noticed we're cooked. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing. I'm sure that everyone, like every generation seems to be expecting that they have more of an impact on a personal level on companies, where boomers just showed up and they fucking clacked and then they went home. So, yeah.
My kids, they often need to be told exactly what to do.
Oh, fuck, she's a millennial? Oh, fuck, I'm dying. I'm aged out. I'm unk. Fuck. 6'7".
And I feel like even as a mom at home, they're always needing me to tell them, like, spell it out for them. And I think as somebody who owns a business and employs people,
You probably don't. I highly doubt her kids are Gen Z, though. They're probably Gen Alpha.
I definitely prefer somebody who can kind of just take the initiative and not have to be told everything to do.
As a mom of Gen Zers, what have you done to teach your kids
She must have like the youngest Gen Z possible, right? If she even had them at 18. Like, is there a way? Lando started in 1982, kids in 2024, Gen Z kids. Okay. Yeah, she's fit. Yes, that is true.
to take initiative and not have to be told everything? Like, I think a lot of times we're like, oh, this generation is lazy, but like the parents are the people who are teaching.
Yeah, I guess she could. If I had a kid at the age my dad had me, I'd have a 12-year-old right now.
Teaching the generation how they should show up.
We're new to the world to some degree, right? There's concepts.
You are clearly, you just look like you were hatched out of an egg. I would agree you're new to the world. I'm sorry, I'm being rude to this kid. He didn't get to choose what he liked. Well, he could have had a better haircut. He's embracing his interesting look with his interesting haircut.
There's things that we're not quite familiar with that I think we're going to ask about them, and we're not going to know how to do it straight out of the gate.
Ooh, that sounds like someone I want to be an elected official.
Greatest lessons that I've learned being on both sides of being employed and being an employer is it really comes down to making and becoming what you want to be as an employee. If you really want to grow, put in the work and increase your skill set, and I'll be happy to invest in you and help you grow. I'm not necessarily going to throw it out there if you're not necessarily showing the initiative.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I choose the people that I'm constantly elevating and giving more responsibility and money to, it's people that are showing, they're stepping up, you know? Those are the people I select. And then those that don't step up or those who are lazy or disorganized, I give them less and less tasks, and they're probably not going to be around forever, you know? That's just the reality of the situation. That's just the reality of, like, you have to show that you care. Then obviously when there's times for people to be elevated, those who care and put in the effort are the ones who get chosen.
I understand where you guys are coming from, but every generation needs somebody to mentor them and show them the ropes. Nobody comes into the workforce.
That wasn't the question, though. It's about expecting too much from their employers. If it's mentorship, expecting mentorship, I don't know if anyone would have a huge problem with that. I don't know.
Knowing what to do. And it is nice to have somebody who already knows how to do the job. But if you're going to hire a Gen Z, or you're going to hire somebody who's young and typically maybe less.
Mr. I run a business. Mr. I employ people. I know. I'm sorry. But I mean, it is real world, my own experiences, right? So obviously I'm going to talk about them.
Expensive because they have less experience. It's your job to train them.
I believe that working harder can solve most of my financial problems. In or out in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, pause. I would say yes, for sure, because working harder isn't just working a job. Work harder at a budget, work harder at discipline, work harder at boosting up your energy by getting healthy leads to more revenue over time. Working harder can lead to better opportunities for raises. Working harder on a resume leads to a better job. Working harder on job interview prep leads to a better job. I mean, working harder, yes, would be better. I'm very curious to see the argument for no. I see that the fucking, what is it? Sid from Toy Story is already gearing the red because he's doom and gloom on everything. Yeah, I think he's a permanent elected victim. There he goes. Okay, he's the dissenter. He's the
I'm
only
over here
dissenter.
because personal experience. The more that I worked and invested into myself and my business, it has been a gradual increase in how much I make.
I work 2 jobs right now. From my
Yeah, but no. The amount of working isn't about how hard you're working. If you actually work hard and put effort into improving your situation, trying to get a better job, that is also counting. It's not just about I work 2 jobs, you know? Like, you might just be showing up and do the minimum, right? I don't know. Work smart, not hard. Well, I think it's a good mix, yeah. I think it's a good mix. You could work hard and stupid, you're not going to get anywhere. You could work smart and also be lazy and probably not going to, like, it's probably both have a natural combination, right?
My own experience, I will never be able to own a house on my own, even on
Disagree. Gen Z, 25% of Gen Zs already own a home. 50% of millennials already own a home. If you're going to give up, you're right. You're never going to own it. Just give up. Give up and you'll never do it. And then you'll win. You'll win your argument because you never fucking worked hard and tried. You can try and fail. That's valid. But you're just not trying. You're giving up. Like, I'm done. Hi, listen here, Financial Audit. I've curated the exact resources and tools I personally use or would use if I was in certain situations. So take advantage of these offers in the resources section in the description below. The first one, I've moved my investments to Webull. Do the same and transfer to my investing app of choice, and you get cash bonuses of $200 all the way up to $30,000, depending on initial funding amount, and up to 8.1% APY on your money, and up to 3.5 matches for your IRA. And then number 2, a great new checking account that I've switched over from SoFi, and it's called Chime. Get that $550 bonus when you sign up with direct deposit and get almost 4% on your money just sitting there. And then 3, automate your investing with Acorns. Usually sign-up incentives are only $5, but you get $20 with my link. Number 4, you can increase your income and boost your resume with a course career certification. 5, if T-Mobile is good in your area, switch to Helium and get a literal $0 a month phone plan for the same exact service. But most importantly, go get your free Hammer financial score and see where you stand in the world of finances. Take the assessment at calebhammer.com. You will not regret any of these. Change your life today.
On that income, I could pick up more shifts, and I'm still never going to be able to reach that.
Yeah, no offense. I mean, you're probably, first of all, I thought you were an elected official too. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're dropping the fries, you're likely not in the position where you're going to be getting a house in an expensive area. Right? Are you doing that in your entire life? Is that your expectation?
Amount. It requires some sort of structural societal change.
By design, the minimum wage was meant to be able to support a minimum lifestyle, but it just doesn't do that.
Is that true? I hear that argument, and then I hear the argument, well, no, it's for high school students, but I honestly have never actually looked into it. What was the actual design for it? I'm going to look it up.
I feel like growing up and to this day, there's a really strong message that everybody's just a few steps away from being like a multimillionaire.
There's a lot of people who have that same mindset of, oh, it's just turn the corner and you'll become a millionaire, whatever, right?
For sure.
And how many of us in this room are millionaires?
I know deep down in my core,
Probably none of them, because usually for most people, millionaire status comes for when you're gearing more towards retirement due to time in the market and appreciation and a home equity situation. Federal minimum wage was first established in 1938 under Franklin D. Roosevelt. Who's surprised? Part of the Fair Labor Standards, or FLSA Act. The additional rate was 25 cents an hour. Okay, main purpose, prevent worker exploitation. Many industries, especially textiles, manufacturing, had driven wages down to poverty levels during the Great Depression. Lawmakers wanted to stop sweatshop conditions where employers paid extremely low wages for long hours. Ensure a basic standard of living. Roosevelt explicitly said the law was meant to provide workers with a fair day pay for a fair day work and a wage high enough to maintain a minimum standard of living necessary for health, efficiency, and general well-being. Now, for what it's worth, I will say, I'm not saying that it does provide for that today, but a lot of these people that say, oh, it just straight doesn't, remember, I look at their finances. That's what the people on the Today Show that I filmed would have said. Yeah, they spent 40% of their income on literal bullshit. Video games, vending machines, going out to eat, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all that shit. It's like, okay, but if you're still choosing to do that, like this minimum's about minimum to survive, right? That's what minimum is. Minimum. You don't get to go fuck around if it's minimum. Stabilize the economy by putting a wage floor in place. The idea was to increase workers' purchasing power and reduce child labor and excessive hours. Okay, so that was the original intent. Yeah, the vending machines are always wild. I know, it's crazy. I've never been a vending machine guy. No, in high school, I would get a Diet Coke on Fridays. I'd treat myself.
that it's a really garbage thing to believe. But if I'm honest with myself, the way that I have lived my life, if I keep working hard enough, that I'll have my big break. And that won't happen.
The thing is, it's not about the big break, though. Like, you'll be disappointed if you're just shooting always for a big break. It's about consistency. Yes, put in hard work, but if you're investing in the market and time's on your side for compound growth, that's kind of what gets you there. It's not about the big break. Now, I understand he might be trying to shoot for something specifically and, yeah, work hard to get there, but it shouldn't be about the big break.
Stop working.
You can work and you can work and work and work and you're still going to maybe retire. That's the way that the world works now. You see how many old people.
Maybe. But I mean, I disagree with this guy because I've seen people spending. People are choosing to invest 5% and below 40% on Disney trips. I'm sorry. Like, if you're doing that, I don't have sympathy anymore. You've lost me. That was your personal choice. I do 4 episodes a week that I film. It's every episode for 3 years. Like, what the fuck? And Social Security is there today. It's not perfect. And it's going to be less by the time we retire, but they made choices. I'm sorry. And this dude's probably making choices. I would love to see his budget. Hey, if you're watching this, I am personally inviting you to come on to Financial Audit with Caleb Hammer. I want to see that forehead in person. Come on.
People working at Walmart or Target. Ultimately, if you're not either lucky or
See, that's where you're lost. If you think it's all luck, then you're done. Because this guy's given up. He's given up on home. He's given up on job. Everything's luck to him. And if you're coming from a position where it's all luck, you will never accomplish anything.
have some sort of intelligence about you, you're not going to.
I like Caleb. He helped me respect the dollar. However, recently opinions are not relevant to the real world, at least here in Australia. Well, one, I'm in the United States, not in Australia. Has he even realized what's going on over the past 2 years? Yes, I'm in the analytics every day of my life, and I literally talk to more real people about money than you ever do. But one, that person never asked the question, the guy who's freaking out in chat for me not looking at something that the auto mod got. Two, yes, I promise. Listen, I'm a legitimate moron in 99% of the things. But when it's about numbers in the economy and going over people's personal finances and seeing what the medians are across the board, I'm in that data more than I promise whoever that commenter is. I promise. Oh, this guy's on the school board? That's interesting.
Be able to pull off everything you want to do. So hard work doesn't always pay off, frankly. But
Let me ask you this question.
I'm going to change to the work smarter, not harder
Yeah.
group.
That's okay. Let me ask this question.
Oh, he worked to smarter. I mean, that's fine.
How much of success do you think is hard work, and how much of it do you think is luck?
Like if you want to be in the top 5 to 10% of income earners, like it really is luck. But yeah, I don't want to be rich. I just want to make enough money to support myself and the people in my life.
Do you feel like Gen Z has more of a mentality of like, we just work to live? Whereas millennials, I know the way I was raised, it was like, oh, you work to level up your life. It's like you work so you can.
Coach Meg says I have selection bias on the show. Absolutely. For sure. We accept the people that are doing poorly. But it's still the people that are doing poorly. I'm not talking to the people that are doing well. So the selection bias is still the whole group of people that are doing poorly, right? So as far as the people that are doing poorly, I am deep in the... And again, selection bias isn't pouring over the fucking Fed reports, pouring over the Labor Bureau statistics reports, pouring over every fucking job report, GDP number, anything like that. Like, again, I would love to hear you talk on this. I am obsessed with researching this information. It's just, I love the data, and that's what I'm in. That's not selection bias. That's just literally the data that's put out. I don't know where you're getting information from specifically. I assume some sources that support your worldview.
You can have a bigger house and you can go on nicer vacations and then you can retire and be really comfortable. And it's like, it sounds like what you're saying is like, as long as I have food on my table and a roof over my head, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I mean, and money to buy fun things. There's more to life than work.
I'm willing to sacrifice.
There's more than life to work, absolutely, but then don't bitch and moan if you're not the one out there making enough to survive out of choice because you're choosing life, you know? Like, that is still your choice you're making. That's still the choice you're making in the end.
My well-being to advance my career. In or out in 3, 2, 1.
I'm willing to sacrifice well-being to invest in my career, advance my career. Yes, I say yes. I definitely go through stressful things in my job personally. Different stresses change at different positions. I have different stresses now than I had at Jimmy John's when I was delivery driving. Different stresses than in sales. Well, now it's like making payroll and, fucking weird people online and a lot of crazy things like that. So, but yeah, I think it's important to sacrifice well-being. I mean, I do personally, but that's because I'm a very ambitious person. So I'm willing to. I don't think every human being necessarily needs to be. Fuck, it's hard. It depends on the economic situation. Because if the fucking economy's dying, the only way to survive is to sacrifice a little. Then yeah, I'm sorry, you gotta. Survival's important, right? Because I don't want people to be forced to, but the economic reality of any economic system, including communism, including socialism, including capitalism, crony capitalism, doesn't fucking matter. You kind of have to. So I think I'd be like right in the middle. That's interesting. It looks like Invader Zim.
I'm a dad. I've got 2 little girls and a wife that I have to.
That's a great point. Changes when you got dependents. That's a great point. Great point.
Provide for. And at the end of the day, my well-being is irrelevant to me compared to the responsibility I feel to provide a steady income, health insurance, keep food on the table and a roof over our head.
That's a great point. I didn't think of that perspective. Thanks, Jade, for the membership on YouTube.
To sacrifice my health and well-being is just not something that I'm interested in doing because your health
And you probably have no dependent right now, so you don't necessarily maybe need to, right?
Health in your body is the one thing that you have throughout your entire life that you really have to protect. That's just not something that's worth it for me.
I ran for
And he doesn't have to. I mean, he can live a very average life in terms of career and, you know, wealth. And if that's what he values, that's what he values, and that's fine. He shouldn't be able to come beg for more because he's not willing to do something that others are willing to. Actions, consequences, and if that's what he chooses, I hope he's content with it and happy. Thanks, Maddie, for the membership on YouTube.
for office last year. I ran for school board, and in order to win that election or any election, you have to be willing to put your physical body out in the streets. And by the end of the campaign,
and we know everyone saw that body out on the streets. He was visible from miles away. I'm pretty sure the jet I was on Sunday landed on that thing.
and I would say I did lose weight and I was exhausted, but you know what? It was worth it. I have sacrificed my physical being for that.
His hairline, I think he's saying.
I'd do it again.
I don't think I'll ever be able to retire in or out in 3, 2, 1.
At this point, with just the history we have around investing, it's much more of a choice than people are willing to give it credit for. It really is. Listen, it's harder if you fucked around your whole life, you didn't think about it, or you're addicted to drugs, blah, 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 and then you're starting at 50, 60. Yeah, that's harder. But everyone here in the age ranges, if they get 20% in the market, in a tax advantage account especially, they will be able to retire. Is it going to be a bougie retirement? Not everyone's going to have that, but they would be able to retire. Remember, retiring isn't completely secluding yourself from the rest of the world either. Like there's a lot. Yeah. Okay, let's see what they say.
I don't.
The amount of no's is incredibly sad to see. And I want to know where their bullshit spending goes instead of investing. I would love to know it. If you want to live for now instead of later, that's fine. But the consequences come later. I don't want to see a picture of you old and sad on the floor and all of us are like, wah, oh no.
Anticipate making enough in my lifetime to save enough to retire. I do fully believe it would need some sort of structural and societal change in order.
Buddy, dude, growing at a 10% growth rate is incredible. The tax advantage accounts that we have are incredible. What structural change do you want to see? Thanks, Connor, for the membership on YouTube.
For most of us to retire in a way that.
If you want a structural change that would lead to better retirement, allow us to go back in time and invest the Social Security fund into the overall market. Allow us to have a sovereign wealth fund like many other countries and pension systems have. Instead, we just put them into fucking low return treasuries. And now it's shit. Now it's fucking dick shit.
Many older folks are retiring now or got to retire before we came up into this world.
In the middle of my career, took some entrepreneurial risks that didn't pay off. Like,
yeah, that was your choice to make. Well, I guess he's not. I guess the prompt wasn't like, and it's not my fault. So yeah, he might not be able to. Well, I mean, he still has time though.
Big time. During that time, I wasn't like putting stuff in my 401k, and I wasn't saving up a giant nest egg like a lot of
He still has time.
my peers were. Like, I'm not sure that Social Security will be around when I retire. It feels like there's going to be lots less safety nets.
Leno says, no way, bro. Inflation is going up 6% each. I don't know where you're getting that number from. Each year, 10% interest from gains, not enough. Okay, so are you just not investing and just giving up and you're gonna die? Like, what's your counter argument? Like, I'm sorry, but you got a blue crown next to your name, so you should come here prime sub. I'm kidding. But seriously.
So I guess it depends on what you define as retire, but I don't see.
Also, if you really believe inflation's going up 6%, why aren't you more heavily in gold or something? Right? Because it's an inflation hedge. If you're truly confident in that, you'd be like 90% gold at that point, would you not? Gold's great for a little bit of diversification. Would you be at 90% if you really believe your 6% number?
Me getting to my like 60s and 70s and being able to stop working.
I think that if you have a goal in mind and you plan for it and you have a strategy to achieve it, that just about anybody in America can retire. Maybe it does require some hustle. Maybe it does require sacrifice. Maybe it requires potentially for a season doing something that you don't enjoy. And so I think that to be able to retire, if you're focused on that, you can make it happen.
Alrighty, good job, guys. That's it for that.
That was fun. It's kind of short. Hey, Caleb Hammer stream fans, make sure you get your financial score for free. Take the assessment at calebhammer.com or dollarwise.com. It's free. See where you stand in the world of finances.